The fourth thing we need to do to be a man after God's own heart is we need to be a great leader, not for the betterment of ourselves, but for others. Great is defined as ample, long continued, and excellent. So when we're going through tribulations, we don't need to throw up our hands and quit. We need to be long continued. When we're striving to do something and we're just ample, that's to be great. When we're trying to do it excellent. Leader is defined as a person that leads, a conduit for, an example for. Don't you want to be a conduit for other people to allow God to work through you to touch their lives? That's what a great leader is. It's not for the betterment of yourself, but it's for the betterment of others. 1 Samuel 23 verse 4. David's men was afraid of the Philistines and to fight against them. David went to the Lord again. See, David had already went to the Lord the first time. And the Lord said, I'll deliver him into your hands. But when his men was afraid, he went to him again and made sure that he had heard the Lord correctly. That's what makes a good leader. He wanted to reassure his men, reassure the people around him that he had heard the Lord right. 1 Samuel 30 verses 3 through 8. When David and his men had returned to Ziklag to find their wives and sons had been taken into captivity, David first encouraged himself in the Lord and then asked the Lord, should I pursue and without fail will recover all? See, first thing we have to be a good leader is we have to, even if we get in a down mode, first we have to encourage ourselves. Then we go to the Lord and we ask what needs to be done. Because if you go in that complaining mode, sometimes you could miss what the Lord speaks to you. So David set a good example. He was a good leader here because first he encouraged himself in the Lord and then he asked the Lord, should he pursue him? 2 Samuel chapter 5. While David reigned over Judah 7 years, 6 months, and after the murder of Ishbosheth, and Ishbosheth means a man of shame, the children of Israel came to David and anointed him king over Israel. He didn't ask for it. They knew he was a good leader. They knew that he put others before he put himself. So they went to him and they asked him to be king. And he reigned for a total of 33 years. 2 Samuel 5 verses 17 and 19, the Philistines came to seek out David after he was anointed king over Israel. David asked the Lord if he should go against the Philistines or not. David at this point had won many battles, and he could have took it upon himself to decide what to do. But instead, to be a good leader, he went to the Lord, and he asked what he should do. So we should always have a confidence in the Lord, not a confidence in ourselves. We can have a confidence in how the Lord can work through us, but we have to be careful not to get a confidence built up in ourselves. We always must have it towards the Lord. The fifth thing that we need to have to be a man after God's own heart is we have to be a great warrior, a resourceful and courageous warrior. That's what David was. We really have to look at that. We talked about great being defined as ample, long continued, and excellent. Well, when you put forth a battle, even if it's a spiritual battle, you have to continue. You have to be willing to go to the end, to get through it without quitting. You have to put 100% of your effort to be excellent at it. A warrior is defined as a man engaged in, a man experienced in. See, we can look at that and say, well, we can't be a warrior like David was because we're not supposed to kill people and we don't battle that way. Not all of us do that. Well, that's not what a warrior is only defined to. You can be a prayer warrior. all through 1st and 2nd Samuel, David seeks the Lord's instruction and guidance. So that shows you that not only was he a great battle warrior, but he was a great prayer warrior. And we all can obtain that if we're praying and we're seeking God on a daily basis. We can be a great prayer warrior, a battle warrior. David battled a lion and a bear to protect his father's sheep. David also, as we talked about earlier, battled Goliath to deliver the Israelites out of the hands of the Philistines. Throughout David's life, he battled many different times with many different people, but he would always seek the Lord's direction. So he never got caught up in himself. You can also be a great praise warrior. You know, David was a great praise warrior. He was a great harpist. He played beautiful music before the Lord and refreshed Saul's spirit. He also wrote many songs to the Lord. So, you know, it doesn't matter how great a singer you are. You can be a great praise warrior through your song. It can be in your shower. It can be at the church. It can be just throughout your day. It can be if you play music. You can play it for the Lord. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it has to be long continued. And you have to put everything that you've got into it. You have to be ample at it. You have to be experienced in it, or you have to be engaged in it. That is what a warrior is. So we all have this ability to be a great warrior. In closing this out, I would encourage you to look at these 5 things to be a man after God's own heart. Put all of your effort into it. Center your soul on it. Center your attention on the Lord and love Him with all your heart, and work on these things that you can do to become a great leader, a great warrior, you know, and then you'll be considered to be a man after God's own heart.